मुच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
श्री कृष्णाय नमः। श्री गोपीजन वल्लभाय नमः। श्रीमदाचार्य चरणकमलेभ्यो नमः। श्री गुसाई जी परम दयालवे नमः। श्री गुरवे नमः। चिंता संतान हंतारो यत्पादाम्बुजरेणवः स्वीयानां तान् निजाचार्यान् प्रणमामि मुहुर्मुहुः। यदनुग्रहतो जन्तुः सर्वदुःखातिगो भवेत् तमहं सर्वदा वन्दे श्रीमद्वल्लभनन्दनम्। अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमामि हृदये शेषे लीलाक्षिराब्धिशायिनं लक्ष्मीसहस्रलीलाभि सेव्यमानं कलानिधिं चतुर्भिश्च 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 त्रिभिस्तथा षड्भिर्विराजते योऽसौ पंचदा हृदये मम। नमोऽस्तु ते व्यासविशालबुद्धे फुल्लारविन्दायतपत्रनेत्र येन त्वया भारततैलपूर्णः प्रज्वालितो ज्ञानमय प्रदीपः। यं प्रव्रजन्तमनुपेतमपेतकृत्यं द्वैपायनो विरहकातर आजुहाव पुत्रेति तन्मयतया तरवोऽभिनेदुम् तं सर्वभूतहृदयं मुनिमानतोऽस्मि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं चैव ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नमो भगवते तस्मै कृष्णायाद्भूतकर्मणे रूपनाम विभेदेन जगत्क्रीडति यो यतः। श्रीमद्भागवताख्योऽयं प्रत्यक्ष कृष्ण एव हि स्वीकृतोऽसि मया नाथ मुक्त्यर्थं भवसागरे। Welcome to the web series of Life Solutions in 2021, A Vedic Lifestyle. Today we are on session 9th, and today we'll try to explore more about Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam is considered to be the Mahapurana. There are 18 Purans that I've mentioned in my previous session. There is Skanda, Padma, Brahma Vairvat, Harivansha. There are multiple set of Puran, and Srimad Bhagavatam is considered to be the Mahapurana. Whenever we want to know the peculiarity, characteristics, or importance of something, we always look out for references. If we are going to buy a product, we will look at the product reviews given by various other customers. When we are going to apply for a course, we would like to speak with students who might have passed out of those courses. and seen some progress in their life. Similarly, every Puran has its own Mahatmya, and Srimad Bhagavatam also has its own Mahatmya, has its own importance, has its own characteristics. Srimad Bhagavatam is considered to be the textual form of Lord, the verbal form of Lord. Now, the original word is Vangmay Swarup of Lord. Lord Shri Krishna is equally present in the Mahapuran of Srimad Bhagavatam. And hence, Srimad Bhagavata Akhyoyam Pratyaksha Krishna Eva Hi. Srimad Bhagavat Ji is equivalent, is equal to Shri Krishna himself. Since I belong to the Vallabh Pratipadit Sampradaya, one where Vallabhacharya has cornerstoned Pushti Marg, and we have been sevaks or disciples of Sri Mahaprabhuji and the entire lineage of Sri Mahaprabhuji. Srimad Bhagavatam becomes an extremely important scripture for us. In one of my previous sessions, I had talked about Veda, Brahma Sutra, and Bhagavad Gita. These three are considered to be the primary treatise or the primary text on which there are commentaries written and the philosophies have been propounded. However, on the contrary, Sri Mahaprabhu Sri Vallabhacharya, founder of Pushti Marg, ensured that one more scripture was added to this set of three, and from a Prasthan Trayi, it became a Praman Chatushtaya. Sounds tough in Sanskrit. Let's try and understand that in English. Instead of considering treatise of three, verbal testimony, or rather textual testimony of four scriptures was given more importance, and Sri Mahaprabhu Vallabhacharya gave us one amazing Sanskrit verse. Vedaha Shri Krishna Vakyani Vyasa Sutrani Chaivahi Samadhi Bhasha Vyasasya Pramanam Tat Chatushtayam. There are the Vedaha, Vedas. Second, Vyasa Sutra or Brahma Sutra. The entire understanding of Brahma from a Vedic standpoint has been compiled by Maharshi Vedavyasa. Then comes the direct conversation between Bhagavan Shri Krishna and Arjun during the battlefield, which is known by the name of Bhagavad Gita. And last but not the least, Samadhi Bhasha Vyasasya refers to something that Vedavyas Maharshi meditated upon, and as a fruit of the meditation came the 18,000 verses of Bhagavad Mahapuranam. The number of verses present right now is debatable. However, 18,000 was the count as propounded. Given this situation, the importance and the speciality of Bhagavad Mahapuran has been propounded in other Puran like Padma Puran and Skanda Puran. when we read them, we get a realization of how Bhagavad is completely applicable in our life. Right from the time a child conceived in a mother's womb till the time the person faces the last rites and the life after that and the life before that, all of these play a crucial role. And when all of these play a crucial role, it gives us an additional motivation of exploring such wonderful scriptures. A lot of people keep asking me, which Bhagavatam should I read? Unfortunately, in Pushti Marg, there is no Bhagavatam available in English. However, Gita Press Gorakhpur, Bhavans, Bharatiya Vidya Bhavans bookstore, Prabhupada's ISKCON have been one of the most formidable ones to translate Srimad Bhagavatam in English with their own respective Acharyas' commentaries and showcase it to the world, propound it to the world, and give it to the world. Now, even before we try and understand Srimad Bhagavatam, it's important for us to get some periphery of the structure, nature, emphasis, content, philosophy, utility, applicability, source, etc. And for that, we need to surrender to our Guru. And hence, from this moment, I'm surrendering myself to Acharya Sri Vallabh, and through his grace, we'll try and understand Srimad Bhagavatam. And I'll tell you the reason why through his grace. Every Acharya who has incarnated on this planet had some higher purpose to achieve. And since they had something to be achieved, they ensured those kind of activities were done in order to achieve those milestones and eventually join back to the source. Sri Mahaprabhu Vallabhacharya's major objective of coming down was to reconcile the divine sources with the divine Almighty. However, when we ask Acharya Sri Mahaprabhu, what is the purpose of you coming down? Acharya Mahaprabhu will say, my purpose is to elaborate on the inner meanings of Srimad Bhagavatam, and one of the major reasons why Lord Almighty Bhagavan Shri Krishna sent me to this planet Earth. Gudhartham prakati karomi. That's what he says in his own commentary by the name of Subodhini on Srimad Bhagavatam. There are three paths towards achieving that divine. The Karma Marg, which is extremely tough during Kali Yuga. The Jnana Marg, which has certain limitations during Kali Yuga. And the Bhakti Marg, which is tough, yet there is no fear of falling or failing over here. Simply love can help you achieve that Almighty. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that amazing? Having considered that, this is something that we should be focusing on. Srimad Bhagavatam is considered to be the Bhakti Shastra. Shastra refers to something that can govern. Shastra is something that can guide. Shastra is something that can withhold as a constitution. People can look up to it and eventually take some inspiration from it and have some implications. Bhagavatam and prior to Bhagavatam, even importance of Bhagavatam can teach you so many life lessons. Broadly, how bhakti is handicapped without having the right kind of knowledge, that is the jnana, and without having the right kind of vairagya, that is detachment. Now, let me tell you something. I'm letting you enter in the space of detachment. A lot of people feel that detachment is not equal to compassion. If detachment was not equal to compassion, then there would be a major problem, because a lot of Vaishnav and a lot of rishis and a lot of learned scholars and divine personalities have been detached and yet compassionate towards others. They have done enough for the mankind to improve their life, to improve their mental health, to work around their physical well-being, to help them realize a lot of things. All of these have happened even when someone was detached and yet had compassion for others. In one of my sessions, I've already mentioned about Parupkaraya Punyaya Papaya Parapidanaya, or Parupkararthamidam Shariram. Now, it's important for us to understand, while we are engaged in bhakti, bhakti refers to we doing something out of love, something out of passion, something which is a little possessive and obsessive in a very positive way. For example, I'll give you an incident. I'm sure you all have heard of Srinathji. Srinathji is considered to be a form of Krishna. And what about consideration? He is Krishna. Krishna is Srinathji, Srinathji is Krishna. There's no second doubt in it. Given this word, given this terminology, there have been situations where a lot of people have faced real-time interaction with Bhagavan Shri Krishna. Similar situation happened to someone, some Acharya of Vallabhkul. The Acharya of Vallabhkul was a divine devotee, a dedicated devotee of one of the Krishna's form, which is called as Gokul Chandra. Gokul Chandra is tilted at 3 places, and Gokul Chandra Maji is actually playing the flute. A normal picture of Lord Shri Krishna, where we see him with flute and tilted at 3 different places. Now this Acharya was engrossed in Gokul Chandra Maji so much that one day he got a chance to go to Srinathji. Even Gokul Chandra Maji is Krishna. Srinathji is also Krishna. He was so much engrossed in Gokul Chandra Maji, since he was so possessive and obsessive, he was so engrossed in Gokul Chandra Maji, he didn't realize that he was doing seva of Srinathji. There was a eureka moment when he realized that he's not in front of Gokul Chandra Maji and he's in front of Srinathji. And that eureka moment was when he was trying to offer the flute before Aarti. he realized I'm not in front of Gokul Chandramaji. I'm in front of Srinathji or some other god. He started crying because of his extreme love, devotion, and dedication to Gokul Chandramaji. He started crying, and Srinathji, out of compassion, out of love, changed his own form from standing like this to standing like this. And Vallabhji could offer the flute, do the arti. The minute he removed the flute, the other Acharya of Srinathji caught his hand and said, right from this moment, kindly go back to Gokul Chandramaji. Shriji accepted your devotion. Please go back to Gokul Chandramaji. Certain Vaishnavas, certain people don't see anything else. They are detached from a lot of worldly desires, but they have compassion towards others because they are noble souls of such Almighty, because they have surrendered themselves to such Almighty, who himself is compassionate, who himself is considered to be a Bhakta Vatsala. This Bhagavatam teaches us of how to connect with God out of love and not out of compulsion, not out of need, but out of want. Not conditional, but unconditional love. And even if it is conditional love, we need to understand the difference between the conditional love and unconditional love. That is what Srimad Bhagavatam can do. Surely in this Kali Yuga, there are a lot of Bhagavad Kathas and Saptahas happening. Most of these Bhagavad Kathas and Saptahas are now musical concerts because we don't listen to the Mool Tattva in it. We don't listen to the wisdom in it. We only want to dance and enjoy because Kali Keshava Kirtanat. During this Kali Yuga, we should be doing Kirtan of Bhagavan Shri Krishna or Keshav. Because of that reason, we are never bothered about what is happening in the Katha. All we want to do is have some dance, have some music, have some life. Well, apparently, if you wanted some dance and music, there are clubs, go enjoy over there. Or there are bhajan sandhyas, go and enjoy over there. Bhagavatam is a similar set of situation where questions are happening and answers are coming. If you go and read the original text, त्वया खलु पुराणानि सेतिहासानि चानघ आख्यात्यान्यपदीतानि धर्मशास्त्राणि यान्युत यानि वेदविदां श्रेष्ठो भगवान् बादरायणः अन्ये च मुनयः सूत परावरविदो विदुः वेत्थत्वं सौम्य तत्सर्वं तत्त्वतस्तदनुग्रहात् भृग्युस्निग्धस्य शिष्यस्य गुरवो गुह्यमप्युत तत्र तत्राञ्जसायुष्मन् भवता यद्विनिश्चितम्. If you go and read Srimad Bhagavatam first skandha or the first chapter, first adhyaya, you will realize that there's a conversation that has been initiated by the Rishi Munis who were sitting over there. There were Rishi Munis who were sitting over there because 1,000 years had passed by. A satra was already done and they wanted to know the path of salvation. They wanted to know the path of moksha. And Suta Maharshi, who got a chance to learn under Shukdeva, was pretty much there and started answering to all the Rishi Munis who were sitting there with Shaunak Rishi as their leader. Shaunak Rishi himself was so famous that he had so many disciples under him. कलिमागतम आज्ञाय क्षेत्रेस्मिन् वैष्णवे वयम् आसीना दीर्घ सत्रेण कथाया सक्षणा हरेः त्वं न संदर्शितो दात्रा दुस्तरं निस्थितिर्षताम् कलिं सत्वहरं पुंसां कर्णधारैवार्णवम् रूहि योगेश्वरे कृष्णे ब्रह्मण्ये धर्मवर्मिणि Swam kastham adhunopete dharmam kam sharanam gatah. Where did the dharma go after Bhagwan Shri Krishna took a partake from this universe? There were 6 such questions. This was the 6th one that I mentioned right now. Jivnu Shreshu. What is the objective of this Shre? Or what is the objective of this soul? And here I'm not talking about the materialistic objective. Materialistic objective refers to prayer. Spiritual objective refers to Shreya. In order to perform that Shreya, in order to achieve that spiritual objective, what is my methodology? Jivnu Sadhanshu. These are the questions that are coming, and then the conversation is starting. It's not like some random person was sitting over there, just I'm sitting there right now on YouTube and trying to talk to you and have a conversation with you. No, it's not like that. There was eagerness to know. It was more than a workshop because there was practical involvement. There was dialogue. It was not a monologue. It was not a stand-up comedy wherein only one person is saying. There were 2 rational people involved with each other. One eager to know and the other person eager to tell. Depending on the nature and the adhikar, the characteristics and the application of it, Suta, Shaunaka, Vyasa Maharshi and Narada ji, Shukadev ji and Parikshit Raja, they have played their roles in Srimad Bhagavatam. And it's because of these divine personalities we know as to what's happening in the Kali Yuga. Or we know how can we as bhakta, as devotees, excel or ensure our well-being by thinking of Lord's well-being in this Kali Yuga. If you go from the 1st chapter till the 12th chapter, there are 12 chapters, 335 sub-chapters as per Bhagavatam, 332 as per Sri Mahaprabhuji, as 3 of them are not considered to be the part of it. About 572 Uvacha, 18,000 verses, 50 prakarans or sub-chapters, 5,76,000 akshar or letters. This is the numerical constituency of Srimad Bhagavatam. The original conversation of Bhagavatam took place between Lord Narayan, Bhagavan, Jnanam Paramaguhyam me yad vijnana samanvitam sarasthatangancha gruhanam tat. Those verses. Ahameva samevagre, etc. etc. Chatushloki Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam was of 7 verses, and yet it was known as Chatushloki Bhagavatam. That was the original form of Bhagavatam that was given by Lord to Brahmaji. Naradji, Vyasji, Shukdevji, multiple Sanat Kumars were also involved. Brahmaji to Sanat Kumarji to Naradji to Vyasji to Shukdevji. So that Chatushloki Bhagavatam was something that Sri Vedvyasji meditated upon, and he could see the divine darshan of the 18,000 verses of Bhagavatam. And since he's considered to be the Jnana avatar, he was in a capacity to go back in time, forth in time, be in the present, and understand and verify the knowledge. But this is Brahma Samhitam. Puranam Brahma Samhitam. It is considered to be equivalent of Brahma Samhita. That's the beauty of Srimad Bhagavatam. Even someone who has done extreme, horrendous activities, Bhagavatam can ensure liberty and liberation of such souls, of such parted souls. But Bhagavatam is not just supposed to be done after someone passes away. A lot of people in the current era have a habit of thinking કે મને ભાગવતમ કરાવી છે મારા દાદી પાછળ, મારા family વાળાએ decide કર્યું છે. But you have no idea. You just wear good clothes and come over there because it's a family function. You need to come. You invite your friends because you're supposed to invite them and maintain relations with them. But you never get a chance of exploring Srimad Bhagavatam. That how the story of Dashavatar is covered over there. How a Varaha, Kurma, Nrsimha, Rama, Parshurama, Vamana, all these stories of all these divine forms of God have been covered over there. Similarly, apart from that, how a topic like financial management is also covered in a conversation between Shukracharya and Baliradha, or how the geographical or geological situation has been mentioned in the 5th chapter or the 5th canto or the 5th skanda, how prose and poetry are being utilized in the same chapter, how Sankhya, calculation of the tattvas, the Jnanendriyas, the Karmendriyas, the senses, the Antakarana Chatushtai of your Man Buddhi Chitta Hankar, that's your mind, intellect, conscience, and ego. How these four are assimilated with each other. How time plays a factor, Kal plays a factor. Calculation of the tattvas is also one of the major things that gets included. Post which, if we go and relate these situations, we'll understand, depending on our credibility, depending on our situation, depending on our expertise, depending on our interests, a lot of examples have already been there in Srimad Bhagavatam. It starts with discovery, it starts with exploration, it starts with jignasa. And hence, Sri Mahaprabhuji gives us such a wonderful analogy. Gayatri Bijam, Vedo Vrikshaha, Bhagavatam Phalam. The Gayatri Mantra, unfortunately, anyone recites it. Well, that's not the right way. Again, as I said, I'm going to make enemies after making such videos. Gayatri Mantra can be offered to people who are Dikshit, who are Dvija, who have the credibility of handling a mantra. You cannot be reciting any mantra left, right, and center. There is a mechanism towards it. There's a process behind it. There's a science behind it. However, I leave that up to you and your guru as to how would you like to handle mantras, because mantras are energy and they have repercussions and actions and implications and after effects. So the Gayatri Mantra, by the way, there are multiple forms of Gayatri. And Gayatri, at least for Vaishnava, doesn't refer to Savita Devi. Gayatri refers to Bhagwan Shri Krishna itself. There's a good correlation between the first verse of Bhagavatam and the Gayatri Mantra. And apparently that has also been propounded by Sri Mahaprabhuji. Gayatri Bhashyam. And how the first verse, Janmadhyasya yatonvayaditratashartheshva vignaswarat tene brahma rudaya adikavaye muhyanti yat suraya. This verse has a correlation with the 24 akshar of Gayatri. Terminologies have some matchmaking. For that, you need to explore Sri Mahaprabhuji, and then you can understand that. But for that, first you need curiosity of understanding the periphery of entire Hinduism and the religion that we have. The scriptures that we have, the verses that we say, all of these areas. We need to work on that. Only then we can enter into something serious like this, which can blow our mind, which can change our perception, which can change our personality altogether. Well, having said that, Gayatri is the source as it is considered to be the seed. The Veda, the one Veda, which contains all four of them, is considered to be the Vruksha, that is the tree. And on those branches of that tree comes a phala, comes the phalam, comes the fruit, which is called Srimad Bhagavatam. It's so melodious, it's so rasapurna that we can't even imagine. It's only when you start falling in love with Bhagavatam, Bhagavatam shows its true colors. Similar thing is there with God as well. A lot of people feel it's just a scripture. We'll touch it and some divine blessings will come. When you start understanding that each and every akshar or letter is equal to Brahma, Shabda Brahma, even by mere listening of it, it has so much divine energy, our life can change. But it's all about that faith. That faith plays a crucial role. If there is no faith, it's impossible for someone to get such feelings. In order to understand Bhagavatam, since it is considered to be the phalam, it's considered to be the last Mahapuran, you know how much study one needs to do? Let me tell you that. 4 Veda, Upanishads of the 4 Veda, Vyasa Sutra or Brahma Sutra, commentaries on those Brahma Sutra, Bhagavad Gita, commentaries on those Bhagavad Gita, 17 other Purans, and all the Vedanga Shastras. That means your Chanda, Nirukta, Jyotisha, Purva Mimamsa, Uttar Mimamsa, and all your other forms of Nyaya, Vaishaskeya, Sankhya. When all of these are studied, post which you can enter into Srimad Bhagavatam. And in order to understand Srimad Bhagavatam, you need to understand Sri Mahaprabhu's philosophy, or possibly you need to read Mahaprabhu's philosophy, so that you understand why Lord is coming, why there is a Matsya avatar. Otherwise, you might feel there is a fish is saving the world. Oh wow, that's a great story. But why the fish? Why the Matsya? Why does Lord need to go something as tamsi as a fish? In our Amar Chitra Katha, we listen to these stories that Lord was a lion-faced man. Nusi Chaturdashi is coming. So, or you will try and understand why a dwarf-based man. That's Vamanji. Or why a very righteous man. That's Ramachandra himself. Or why someone who's a kingmaker or someone who breaks the rules himself. Someone like Krishna Chandra or Krishna himself. Or why was he a Varaha? A boar. So for that, you need to have some curiosity. You should be ready to do some hard work. You should be in a capacity to bring some solutions for yourself. It's only when you do all of these and then it's going to help you around. You need some motivation to read Srimad Bhagavatam. Any life problem you have, if you open Srimad Bhagavatam, you will face some solution in that. You will come across some solution in that, which is going to change your perception, which is going to change your mind, which is going to change the way you look at things. What happens when your loved one dies can be seen from the Sati Charitra. You can see the Karun Swarup of Rudra, anger. Dhvani Prava Pravartita Prachanda Tandava Shiva. You can see that anger, the Raudra Swarup, not the Karun Swarup, the Raudra Swarup of Rudra. You can see the separation that gopis face because of Lord going away to Mathura. And when Uddhav is coming back as a messenger, and what kind of conversation is taking place between the gopis and Uddhav. The epitome of patience. When the three gods, the trio, Brahmaji, Vishnuji and Maheshji is being tested by Bhrigu Rishi. The importance of a bhakta. When Durvasha Rishi actually insults Amrish, and there's a Sudarshan Chakra falling behind Rishi Durvasa. And it's only when Durvasa Rishi asks for forgiveness of Amrish, that's the time when Sudarshan Chakra stops. The conversation between Draupadi, who has lost 5 kids and yet requests Arjun not to kill Ashwatthama. Imagine this, someone who has lost 5 kids and is requesting not to kill the killer. What kind of deep understanding this human have? Because they are not normal human beings. Draupadi is a divine force. How to take control of your husband is a conversation that has taken place in Mahabharatam. And there's an interaction between the wives of Bhagwan Shri Krishna and Draupadi in Srimad Bhagavatam. How Lord's will can change the way we are. How Dharma, Artha, Kama, Purushartha have an implication in our life. How an Asur like Vritrasur desires to be Lord's servant's servant. Lord's servant's servant. Dasanu daso. Lord's servant. Servant. Sorry, third time servant. Because Bhakta looks amazing when he is humble. When there is humility in Bhakta. Damodar Das Harsani is considered to be a disciple of Sri Mahaprabhuji. Again, not considered, he's a disciple of Sri Mahaprabhuji. Sorry, I'm learning. Damodar Das Harsani ji was sleeping on the day of Pavitra Ekadashi at night. That day, Lord appeared in front of Mahaprabhuji and said, start the path of initiation, start the path of Brahma Sambandha. Whomever you will initiate, I'll never leave that person's hand. Damodar Das Harsani heard everything. However, he was humble. He was humble enough to say, Lord, I heard everything. When Shri Mahaprabhuji asked him, he said, Suniyo par samjho nahi. I heard everything, but I didn't understand anything. This is the humility of a Shishya. This is the humility of a Bhakta. And I think this has been one of the major learnings in my life as well. The more you know, the more troubled you are going to be. But the more you know and the more you feel that you know lesser is the truest sense of humility. Vidya vinayena shobhate. Knowledge is adorned when someone who is humble actually carries it. It's appropriate, it's attractive only when someone is humble, not when someone is rigid, not when someone is arrogant. And this is one of the major learnings that I've received yesterday night after reflecting the thoughts. It's not like I'm saying out of for the sake of it. I had a 3-hour rational discussion for this. Because the Rishis and the Munis had something in them. They surely wanted to test who's coming to learn from them. Because they didn't want their knowledge to be misused by someone else. Even Lord Krishna went for 64 days to study 64 formats of Vidya from Rishi Sandipani. If they can, why can't we? I'm not saying we should do what they do. You can't marry 16,000 wives. You can't marry 8 wives. You are supposed to do what Krishna says and you are supposed to do what Ram does. Because Rama is a Maryada Purushottam and Krishna is the Pushti Purushottam. Ram has led a normal life. In case if someone is harassing your wife, you will be declaring a war against that particular person. But however, you won't be in a capacity to fight with someone 17 times the way Jarasan fights with Lord. Because Lord Krishna has a different capacity, different capabilities. He's beyond the rules, he's rules himself. And Ram is someone who's abiding by the rules. You don't confuse yourself to be Krishna and consider Ram to be any lesser. Do what Ram does and do what Krishna says, and that's exactly how Bhagavatam can lead to us in having an amazing life. And when we start getting out of this materialistic world, we start reading about the various kings, Yayati, Yadu, Ikshvaku, Raghu, Dashrath, Sri Ramchandra, Aja, and all of these kings that come in the 9th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Once you start realizing that there's a world beyond materialistic world, steps in the Krishna avatar. And at least we in Pushtimar, Gheri hai bhaiya ho aaj Nand Rai ke Anand bhaya. We consider to be extremely blissful. Right now, when I'm saying this, I'm feeling sensations and vibrations. I'm feeling, oh, Krishna avatar is happening. That's the beauty of Ananda. That's the beauty of realization. It makes you feel, it's even better than the sensual experiences that we all have. Because there's a sense of completeness and not just satisfaction. There's no comparison between spiritual satisfaction and satiation and experiences versus the materialistic or the physical and the sensual ones. Sensual ones can be counted. You can count the number of orgasms you get and the satisfactory orgasms you get. But versus you cannot count the number of times you feel extremely satiated and blissful. Those moments are rare. And despite being rare, you cannot count them. Because you can't quantum them, you can't quantify them. And if we need a perspective in life in terms of philosophy, 11th canto, the 11th chapter, the truest conversation between Uddhav. Yesterday only I was having this conversation. Rather than being an Arjuna who's going to be there during the war and after that maybe he's going to be disappeared, or trying to be a Sudama, who once didn't do the right thing and eventually had to pay for it, and then things got mended. I rather be an Uddhav who was there with Lord till the last moment of Lord, and after that, Lord requested Uddhav to go to Badarkashram. But while he was there, Lord gave all the secret based knowledge that was there along with him, which is going to be beneficial for the mankind. And that is what exactly is propounded in the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. It has so amazing chapters that there'll be a shift of paradigm in our life. It can break patterns in our life. It can change relationships in our life. It can change beliefs in our life. It can change our own essence of our existence. But for that, we can't read Srimad Bhagavatam as some random novel. No, it's not Harry Potter series, my friend. It's not a Money Heist. It's not a GOT. It's not a Friends. It's not a Brooklyn Nine-Nine. It's Bhagavatam. And remember one thing, you never understand anything in the first go. Any CA students who would be listening to this, you might have never understood an article or a law in the first attempt. If you have, great, you are supreme. It's only through practice, when you take charge of yourself and you realize that this is going to be beneficial to you. That is what Srimad Bhagavatam can do to you. We feel people run away out of love in this era. No. Apparently, Chandra kidnapped Bruhaspati's wife, Tara, and they had a kid together. That mentioning is also there in Skanda 9. Diti, who lost control and wanted to have a sensual experience with Rishi, if I'm not wrong, it's Diti only. Diti and Kashyap. Or was it Kardam and Devahuti? Just give me 1 minute. I'll just rethought of it. Yes, it was Mata Diti who lost control of her senses and wanted to have a sensual experience during the evening with Kashyap Rishi. And apparently that turns out to be a horrendous experience, reason being she gives birth to Asurs in the eventual segment. They turn out to be Jayan Vijay, Hiranyakshan, Hiranyakashipu, Ravanan, Kumkaran, and so on and so forth. Because she lost her sensual control during the time of evening, and evening time is considered to be an auspicious segment where Lord Shiva or Rudra comes down with his Nandi, blesses all the houses where religious or spiritual activities are happening, and certain things that are inappropriate with that given point of time are considered to be inauspicious, and with that, she didn't have the control of time and she lost her senses. Now, if you go and see as per modern psychology, it or as per or the urge of need and all of these things, it may violate those concepts. However, if you see an assimilation between both of them, even desperation in wrong times is considered to be an emotion that needs to be worked upon. That dire urge needs to be worked upon. That is also something that even psychological experts would tell you, that you don't get everything that you want at that given point of time. Yeah, there are certain moods to it. There's a way of setting it up, etc., etc. So even such concepts have been explained in Srimad Bhagavatam, and that's the beauty of Srimad Bhagavatam, that it touches your materialistic concept and immaterialistic concepts quite equally. Well, having said that, this is what Srimad Bhagavatam really looks like. We have just touched upon something. Maybe in the next session, we'll try to learn more in detail. If you have any questions, kindly leave it in the comment section. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel and turn on the notification bar so that any such videos that come next, it will be helpful for you to listen to them. If there is any feedback, Aditya Shastri is all yours. You can let me know. With that, I surrender my session to that Almighty who's in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam himself. Shubham Bhavatu. Krishna Arpanamastu.
ॐ शान्ति शान्ति